Hello, fellow Disney Plus watchers. So glad you're joining today. Welcome to Your Thoughts, where I'll be reading and responding to what you thought about the latest Disney Plus episodes and movies. Before we begin, if you want to join in next time, just drop your thoughts on any of my review videos throughout the week and add D+ at the top of your comment so that I know you consent and agree that I'll be adding your words into the mix here. I'll not be responding to your comment in written form when it's submitted like this. This week we're talking about Moon Knight Episode 6 and Disney Gallery The Book of Boba Fett, and if you're not interested to talk about both of these topics, there are timestamps within this video and in the description to choose them to your liking. And before we move on, thank you so much for following along, for writing in. That's appreciated. I think this series will grow into a success. It's only been going for a few weeks, and I already see more people coming in to watch the videos than writing in, which is a good sign, I think. So that means in this space, a lot of people are interested in each other's thoughts, not only my thoughts, not only your own thoughts that you wrote in, but all these people are coming in to watch this video anyway. So let's begin with Disney Gallery, The Book of Boba Fett. The Jesus writes, I really love watching these making of documentaries because I find it really interesting to see how the shows and movies are thought out. It also makes me appreciate the shows more because you can see why the directors and writers made certain decisions, and it gives you a good insight into their creative process, which I really enjoy watching. I thought the show had some alright episodes, but I think I almost enjoyed watching this more than the actual show itself. And how would I react to that? Yeah, well, I get it why you think this is more enjoyable than the show, because this this documentary makes the show look better and more cohesive, because you see this team at work doing their thing, and it really makes it seem like this show is a really wholesome thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed a ton about Book of Boba Fett, but it isn't even, we can't even call it a show. I think it's too much of a distinction between Mandalorian season 2.5 and the Book of Boba Fett, the Boba Fett story, that it's not really a cohesive thing. So it doesn't feel like one thing either. This documentary makes it seem like it's one big happy family making one big epic show. So I totally get it, man. Random Guy 1001 writes in, the Book of Boba Fett doesn't age well for me. I feel like the farther I get away from it, the less I like it. And I gotta agree 100% with that sentiment. So again, I think it's because watching this week to week, like remember episode 2. We had one episode the week before that was kind of, okay, well, it was fine. Let's see where it goes. And then the second episode comes in with a bang. You know, it takes it a step further. It has a lot of action, and it's furthering the story in a way that makes sense. But if you've seen the whole season and you're at episode 7 and you finish it, you start to think, what have I been watching? You know, that's the whole thing about this. Okay, let's then move on to Moon Knight, the finale, episode 6. Peach9977 writes, I liked the finale so much. Layla becoming Tawaret's avatar was incredibly badass. I hope they stay as a duo. However, I kinda wish the blacking out shit didn't happen. We deserve to see Jake in full before the post-credit scene. All in all, I hope we see Moon Knight on the big screen. And yes, some way Moon Knight will return, and the big screen would be great. But I think the show hasn't been that popular. The viewing numbers weren't that great. So maybe this is a character that's going in the shelf and kind of forgotten about, because you can't continue everybody's story. So maybe they at Marvel see this wasn't a great success, like critical success, yeah, kind of, but a great success, I don't know. So I hope we see him too, of course. And yeah, the blacking out stuff, I do have to say, in the moment itself, it caught me by surprise, and it was the most surprising blackout moment. So in that moment, I was entertained by what was happening, but a few minutes later, I too realized, oh, the ending is going to be very unsatisfying, so oops. We've seen this third character that's only been teased. Jake essentially gives the final blow. It's kind of confusing why they did it in the end. Tibu the Axolotl. I still don't know how to say that, sorry. I liked this final episode, although I think it includes a lot of moments that does not make sense. First, I agree that bringing Steven back feels a bit weird after last episode. I can see that Marvel Studios wants to use the character in the future, but last week really served as a story to say farewell to Steven, so why do that then? Some other things I found confusing. Why did Mark's action bring Steven back, and why did that trigger the gate to open? This felt really random. How does the interaction between the gods and the people work? I believe in the previous episodes, only the avatars were able to see their own god, but now everyone could see them all. And when Harrow uses his cane to judge the agents, why did this not affect the others in the area? Also, that final scene with Dr. Harrow in the institution felt out of place, for Mark/Steven was not dead anymore. So in which reality did that happen? Okay, a lot to unpack. Let me start with your final point. So the final scene with Dr. Harrow. I didn't think that particularly felt out of place because the finale did what I hoped it would do in a very unsatisfying manner. And that is reveal to us, well, actually, Oscar Isaac's personas and his character isn't crazy, or is not as crazy as we thought, but he's actually being manipulated by... It's actually the other way around. The game is rigged, and it's supposed to tell us, no, he's the crazy one, he's the one who manipulated this all into how he wanted things to be, so it's fitting for me to see him this way. But other things about the ending, which I discussed in my review, I really felt unsatisfied by. But yeah, and the other points, I think the second one, the interaction between the gods and the people, that's a very good point. It doesn't bother me that much, but that's because it's just, it feels minor, stuff like that in big shows that has to deal with gods and stuff like that. It feels very minor. But yeah, and the gate thing is totally it's totally stupid. That's just stupid. I don't know. Good points, Thibaut, and you continue, by the way. You added a comment. I also agree that the episode felt a bit rushed, which is not necessary at all, because this was by far the shortest of all the episodes. They could have easily added 10 more minutes to it. I hope to see some connection with the rest of the MCU at the end, as to have an idea what is next for Moon Knight and what his role will be in the greater universe. I guess we have to wait a bit longer for that. And yeah, it's the shortest, and that's weird, I know, but it doesn't... Length is not important if everything is conveyed. We don't know. We don't know if they made this 10 minutes longer, it would have been better. Like, where is that 10 minutes? That 10 minutes is 10 pages of script, mostly. Like, 1 minute of script is 1 minute of TV. That's kind of the baseline idea. But this trend of saying this needed to be longer and this needed to be shorter, the question, does it feel rushed? Does things that happen go by too quickly? That's a problem. Is it 10 minutes longer? Is it supposed to be 10 minutes longer? I don't know. So that's how I see that. I never say, oh, it had to be a half hour longer, then it would be better. Where's that half hour? Someone has to write that half an hour. Like, where's that script? Is that script gonna be good, that extra half hour? I don't know, man. So let's move on to Random Guy 1001, who writes, I totally agree with pretty much everything you said in this video. That was Moon Knight episode 6 review. The episode was pretty boring for me and didn't really care if Amit was defeated or not. Well, I don't think it's boring, but I get it. I don't like it that much either, and it's not that exciting because we had the true finale of Oscar Isaac's character in the show in episode 5. That's so obvious. The show finishes in episode 5 in terms of the character development. We have some loose ends. Gods need to battle it out. I know that's all important for the narrative of the plot of the show. The real satisfaction is in that 5th episode. So I agree that this feels underwhelming because of that. And that's what I was afraid of. And it happened, unfortunately. But yeah, so then there's 2 of you who wrote in their ranking of the episodes. And just for time's sake, Bricks on Bricks writes in and he says, just found this channel, overall pretty cool video, thank you for that. And before I read your comment, I am just gonna read the ranking and then move on to the next one and then react to both of your rankings, and it will be clear why I do that. But I'm not gonna read everything you said about the episode, but I did read, of course, your whole comment, and thank you for sending it in. So the ranking here is Bricks on Bricks says, number 1, episode 1, The Goldfish Problem. Number 2, Asylum. Number 3, Gods and Monsters. Number 4, Summon the Suit. Number 5, The Friendly Type. Number 6, The Tomb. So it is actually very similar to what the next one wrote in. Edward Nigma says, here's my list, let me know what you think of it. Number 6, episode 3, The Friendly Type. Number 5, episode 2, Summon the Suit. Number 4, episode 4, The Tomb. Number 3, episode 6, Gods and Monsters. Number 2, episode 5, Asylum. And number 1, episode 1, The Goldfish Problem. And what stands out to me is that both of your top 3s are the episodes 1, 5, and 6. So let me check again. Are they exactly similar. No, not exactly. Yes, they are totally similar. So what I find interesting is that I feel like this show has episode 1, and that's just throwing you in there with a weird story that you don't know what's going on. Episode 2, 3, and 4 are essentially the part of the show that if Moon Knight would have been rewritten into a movie, this would have been the bulk of the movie and the bulk of what the movie would be marketed as. It's the treasure hunt, it's the Indiana Jones, it's the relic hunt, it's that kind of stuff, and it moves the plot forward in big ways and not so much confuse you with characters here or an asylum or a mental hospital. Or what I'm trying to say is that the number 1, number 2, and number 3 of your rankings are precisely those distinct episodes, right? And the other 3 are the continuous Moon Knight movie. That's how I would describe it. So that's interesting that I see that similarity there. And what's also interesting is that I really love Asylum, and I really don't like Gods and Monsters, and I'm kind of on the first one. So I very much disagree with your rankings, and that's the fun of it. So thank you for sending it in. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back this Wednesday with the new series The Quest that comes out that day, and Sneakerella comes out next week. So a lot of things on the horizon. Then give that a click. Why not? Thank you so much. It helps the channel. For now, have a wonderful day, and see ya.